What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is about recovery, specifically the best recovery drink to drink post-exercise. There are a lot of misconceptions as well as general information online that I feel like doesn't accurately answer the questions to help athletes recover in the best way possible. With my background in athletic therapy, a lot of athletes often ask, what is the best fuel that I can be putting into my body after exercise? So I took it upon myself to dive a little bit deeper and look into several research articles, blogs, and other online resources to help determine the ultimate recovery drink for sport. One of the biggest things I've found, and one of the biggest things people aren't telling you, is that recovery isn't just one absolute. No matter how perfect your post-recovery meal or post-recovery shake is, it can be easily negated if the rest of your recovery isn't on point, or it's inconvenient to the point that you don't do it. Thus, it is important to consider recovery as a continuous daily process, especially for an athlete that trains every single day. As a result, I've decided to make this into a 3-part mini-series on recovery pre-workout, post-workout, and during workout. This video will be on what is most familiar to most of you, and that is post-workout recovery. Before we begin, we must understand what occurs during activity. First, during intense activity, our working muscles use our glycogen stores. Glycogen is stored glucose, which is broken down from the carbohydrates we eat daily. Glycogen is converted back into glucose to supply energy to our muscle cells. Secondly, during activity, you break down your muscle fibers, causing microscopic tears, also known as microtrauma. It is important to note here, however, that microtrauma does not always occur, and microtrauma does not always need to occur for muscle growth. There are several other factors that promote muscle growth, which I'm not going to get into in this video, but just something to be aware of. Dietary protein containing the body's essential amino acids helps to build that muscle back up and stronger than ever. Finally, the body can lose a lot of fluid in the form of sweat depending on the duration and intensity of exercise. The two main components of sweat are salt and water. Okay, so we've established that our high quality recovery beverage must contain carbohydrates, protein, water, and some form of electrolytes, one of the main ones being sodium. Now, knowing this, we want to establish a recovery beverage that is convenient, tastes good, and that is scientifically proven to enhance recovery. So what does the research say? In an article by Burke et al., where they looked at the recovery for carbohydrates and fats, athletes should aim to achieve carbohydrate intakes to meet the fuel requirements of their training program and to optimize restoration of muscle glycogen stores between workouts. Perfect, so we've established that carbohydrates help to replenish glycogen stores after exercise and lead to a better recovery. But this is already widely known. What a lot of people don't consider is the type of carbohydrate. In an article about building a beverage for recovery from endurance activity, it states the importance of the type of carbohydrate, and that with those with a higher glycemic index such as glucose, dextrose, or sucrose promote greater muscle glycogen storage compared with low glycemic index carbs such as fructose. That's amazing. So we literally have a credible journal article that is summarizing to-date research on this topic and telling us that high glycemic carbs are carbs that rapidly increase our blood sugar levels, lead to improved glycogen storage, as well as enhanced recovery. We currently established the importance of carbs as well as the type of carbs, but what about the time of ingestion? In an article by Saunders, they looked at carbohydrate and protein intake for recovery. It states that ingesting carbohydrates 30 minutes after exercise leads to substantially higher rates of glycogen synthesis than a later time of consumption. In addition, an article by Burke et al. Supports this by saying, the most important finding of this study is that failure to consume carbohydrates in the immediate phase of post-exercise recovery leads to very low rates of glycogen restoration until feeding occurs. That's crazy. So the research is identifying the importance of early intake of carbs post-exercise in order to allow for an effective recovery. This is especially important if you are doing multiple bouts of exercise within the same day. These results likely suggest that fluid is the best option to quickly replenish post-exercise when your appetite may be suppressed and is more convenient to have with you. So far, what we've talked about is carbohydrates, but what about protein? In an article about carbohydrate protein intake and recovery from endurance exercise, they found that there is a variety of evidence indicating carbohydrates and protein, in particular, promote post-exercise recovery and enhance subsequent exercise performance when compared to carbohydrates alone. In addition, high-quality protein like casein and whey containing all essential amino acids and all essential BCAAs or branched chain amino acids such as leucine have important roles in protein synthesis and overall muscle function. Casein is a complete protein, but not the best option to have post-workout since it digests slowly. A better option would be whey due to its faster digestion. Protein is said to help reduce muscle damage, aid in muscle repair, as well as lead to retention or gain of muscle mass. Thus, a high quality protein source in combination with carbohydrates can lead to an elite level recovery. We are still forgetting about the two players that are lost in sweat: salt and water. In the Building a Beverage for Recovery article, it says that strength professionals should encourage athletes to use a recovery beverage containing electrolytes, potassium, chloride, and sodium to restore losses through sweat, help retain ingested fluids, and stimulate thirst to ensure continued drinking. As you can see, a recovery beverage containing salt as well as water is a great way to replenish all the lost fluids during exercise. As a side note, it is important for us to be consuming our daily potassium, calcium, magnesium, and chloride, among other things, to make sure that we are preventing things like muscle spasms and to ensure that we are getting our daily essential nutrients. So make sure that you're getting enough in your day-to-day diet. Now I know what you guys are all thinking. Ben, that's great and all. In our post-recovery workout beverage, we know that we have to put protein, carbs, salt, water, etc. But how much of each do we have to put in? The research suggests that a 4-to-1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein is optimal for recovery. This is more specific to endurance athletes. Other than that, it's very difficult to give you guys a specific value for each of these ingredients, since every single athlete is going to have different size, training duration, and different goals, whether they're trying to gain weight, lose weight, or maintain. I will, however, give you guys 3 example beverages that I came across in my research that are all great options to use for post-workout recovery that you can tweak proportionally according to your size and your goals. The first one is the infamous chocolate milk. In the Building a Beverage for Recovery article, it says that an ideal recovery beverage would provide both carbohydrates and protein needed for muscle glycogen synthesis, fluid and electrolytes needed for rehydration, and is convenient and tastes good. Due to chocolate milk's good source of calcium, it is a great option as a recovery beverage. Another article discusses its high quality milk proteins, high water content, and high electrolyte content, sodium, potassium, and calcium, as previously mentioned. Chocolate milk is an amazing option and it checks all the boxes. It's convenient, it tastes good, and it has research to support the fact that it enhances recovery. Okay, with all that said, chocolate milk is a great option, but it doesn't cater to people that are lactose intolerant. So what do we do for those people? I found this interesting sport recovery mix online by Scratch Labs. Developed by Dr. Alan Lim, they have developed a specific recovery beverage containing all the previously mentioned ingredients with a 4-to-1 carbs to protein ratio. Although it doesn't have any specific research on it, anecdotally speaking, it has worked and enhanced recovery for many elite athletes all around the world. There's a video on it, so if you guys want to check that out, I'm going to leave it in a link in the description down below. Yes, this product is designed with milk protein. However, if you shake it up and let it sit for 20 minutes, it has specific enzymes designed to break down the majority of the lactose so that people who are lactose intolerant should have no problem in drinking this post-exercise. Another great option, not the most convenient, but a lot of people are happy with the taste and the ingredients are highly supported by research. The final beverage is my own creation. I actually got the idea from someone else and I'm tweaking it just a little bit. This consists of 500 milliliters of water, a couple teaspoons of dextrose, a pinch of salt, and 1 scoop of high quality whey protein powder. And you can have an apple on the side. This whole recovery complex, it takes into consideration convenience, taste, and it takes into consideration all the research that we've talked about for the past 10 so minutes. So you can ensure that you have the proper carbs and you can ensure that you can take it right after exercise and is readily with you and right there at your side. For this beverage, you're going to be getting around 50 grams of carbs and just over 20 grams of protein with the right fluids and electrolytes necessary for your recovery. Of course, you can tweak this proportionally according to your size and your training goals. So by adding carbs or reducing protein, for example, in order to reach your needs. Supplement this with a high quality meal shortly after, and you are well on your way to a fast and effective recovery. All right, that pretty much concludes today's video talking about the top beverage post-exercise in order to enhance and optimize recovery. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is part 1 of a 3-part mini-series. Stay tuned for part 2 and part 3. Leave a like down below if you guys did enjoy. Comment as well, subscribe, and that is pretty much it, guys. I'm signing out. Peace.